Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Really quickly, I just wanted to show you I have black all over my hands. I was playing with stamps, so I got a little messy. It is not dirt, not even under my fingernails. That's all ink. Anyway, welcome. We are starting my April setup today. I am going with a bit of a floral theme, but not super colorful floral theme. I'm trying to keep it kind of neutral, and you'll see what I mean when I start coloring. So I am starting with a water spout, and I am filling that with all sorts of florals and branches and leaves. I even have a little in the background, have a little pampas grass. Most of these flowers, at least I don't think so, most of these flowers are not real kinds of flowers. They're sort of inspired by real kinds of flowers. Like the little dot one that I'm drawing right now kind of looks like those little purple flowers that pop up every spring, but I'm going to paint it or color it white. Here's my pampas grass. I know it's not typically associated with spring, but that's my style. And then the little flower to the left of the pampas, not really sure what that is. Maybe it's tulip, maybe it's a rose. It's totally up for interpretation. Right now I'm kind of drawing a daisy. I make it a little brown and tan, which is sort of a fall color, but I promise this winds up looking like spring. The only thing I wish I would have changed about this when it's all said and done is that I wish I had made that daisy a little bit bigger. I feel like, I'm thinking of like black-eyed Susans. Those flowers are pretty big, right, in comparison to some others. And then the pampas grass looks kind of small. So I think my sizing was a little bit off, but I still really like the way it turns out. The trick here for me was kind of repeating certain flowers so that it all went together, but I didn't just have one kind of flower, and then mixing up the size of the nibs. So I had obviously a thinner nib for the flowers, and then I went in with a thicker one for the A for obvious reasons because it's bigger and I want to color it in. I'm getting a ton of use out of my Tombows today. A lot of these came from the skin tone set, but a lot of them also came from just singles that I picked up at Michael's. I was super happy when I discovered that Michael's had Tombows. I went swatch crazy and bought way too many. And then, of course, they went on sale like literally the next day. I'm trying to color in the tin can and keep it in all one direction so that the spout looks normal. A little more realistic that way. I am also going over it again on the edge here to shade in the spigot a little bit. I'm switching up the nib again to letter in April, and then I'm stamping on the calendar. I stinking love that stamp. I think the set on Amazon was maybe $8, and I use it every single time I do a layout. So I get my use out of it for sure. To color in the pampas grass, I actually have this really cool sort of tan super tip. Those are the other markers I pull in a lot. There are a lot of pastel super tips I have the big set, so there are a lot of pastels out there. You just gotta look for them a little bit. And that's my favorite part of this whole spread. This whole setup, I think, maybe, is that pampas. I don't know why, it's just so pretty. And I know it's a really big, like, home decor trend right now. So here I am with the daisy. I am putting a little bit of brown on the leaves. When I was playing around and trying to set up this design, and, I have kind of like a spare notebook that I was working with, I colored them in brown, and I was like, ooh, I don't like that. So I went over it with the white Jelly Roll, just like I'm doing now. And it lightened up the brown and kind of created some dimension because, some of the strokes of the Jelly Roll were white, some of them were brown. I really liked the way it looked. Obviously, that's totally like an extra step. I'm kind of an extra person. You don't have to do that part. All right, and then I had to bring in that pale pink. I know I say this in darn near every video, but I'm not a huge pink person. However, I will make an exception for that gorgeous pastel pink. Now what I'm doing here, I'm keeping these little flowers white. I thought about doing them purple, you know, kind of like the flower that I based them off of, but I didn't want to add purple to this. So I have this really cool gray that I'm going just around the edges of those circles and kind of outlining them so that it looks even brighter. The white parts look even brighter, and then it's got sort of a normal shadow around it, like it's got some dimension in it. And then I just had to draw these cute little bees. It is springtime after all. I did the same trick with their wings as I did with the flower petals. I'm also using my POSCAs quite a bit in here. I like that thicker nib to color in these bigger strokes like this, and then I also use the thin one to do some writing. Alright, now we are on to my monthly calendar. I wanted to bring in some craft paper. I've been doing that a lot lately. I just love the way it looks. Kind of homey, kind of messy, but not messy at the same time. I am leaving out the Dutch doors this month. I tried to keep it relatively simple. I did like the Dutch doors, you know, with the trackers and things behind them and room for like monthly lists and things, but I just wanted to keep it simple today. I'm trying to tie in the same colors through the whole spread, so the same exact colors that I used for the flowers, I'm going to use for the calendar. That beautiful... Sorry, my cats are crazy because the birds are in my yard. I'm trying to use that gray. It gets a lot of use in this video, and that sage colored green does too. Now, I didn't actually plan to outline those lines. I know you see them there that vertically split up the days of the week. I just put them there so I knew how to space the numbers on the days of the month. I will erase them soon. All right, I wanted to do the same kind of A on this page. Now I am bringing in some stickers from the Happy Planner Spring book. I bought this last year, but I bought it, I think, in June. So I didn't use any of the stickers because it wasn't spring anymore. I know I could have if I wanted to, but I'm weird like that. So I have been dying to use these stickers for a very long time. They are just cute. They're the perfect little blush pink and corally pink, and a lot of the leaves and colors are the same as what I was drawing in the water can on the front page. I also want to apologize if you can hear birds in this. I have my windows open because it does feel like spring today and it's so nice. I really like how that calendar turned out. Super simple. Definitely room for me to write though and organize my month. Not mad about it. And if I need to make a list, like tasks that I want to accomplish this month, I can do that in those extra days before the month actually starts, since the month is not a beautiful square calendar like February was this year. Now over here, I'm trying something new. I'm doing a seasonal bucket list for spring. I'm decorating that with some spring sort of doodles. It does rain a lot in the spring, obviously, so I thought umbrellas were cute. That was surprisingly easy to draw. Then I took a bunch of stickers from that sticker book and put them on the craft paper. I didn't want to do that with every single one of the stickers because then I might as well have just made the entire page craft paper. So I thought it looked good the way that I tore out some of them and then colored in the background for some of them. I can't wait for that first spring pedicure, by the way. I am in desperate need. All right, now I saw this on Instagram. I will try to leave in the description box who it was, but I saw a spread like this. And by like this, I mean, there was a design on the left, like I'm doing right now, and then the calendars were on the right on craft paper, like I'm going to do. But the drawings and the quote and everything, that's just something that I decided to do. So anyway, I really, really, really like this quote. No winter lasts forever. No spring skips its turn. Sometimes if you're going through a really tough time, it's easy to forget that none of these bad times last forever. There will be good days again eventually, even if it takes them a while to get here. So I really like this quote because it's the same for your bad days and good days as it is for the seasons in the year. I'm bringing in the exact same flowers that I used on that first page. I will say, normally in my layouts, I use a lot more stickers or craft paper or something like that for design elements. This is the first one that I've drawn a lot. Even my March setup, I had some doodles, obviously. It was a lot of doodles, but most of them were with marker, and it was a little more simple. You know, I didn't have to be as careful as I do here. So I will say the setup took a little bit longer. I could have filled in this layout with the flower stickers again, but I wanted to make sure that the cover page kind of flowed with everything. So I insisted on drawing them here too. Obviously, you do you. You can do what you want. If you're not into drawing a million things like this, you could just put craft paper on the left side and the quote and maybe 1 or 2 flowers, and it would look just fine. Maybe you could do an umbrella or another water can and skip some of the flowers. It's totally up to you. I did add those little cattails down at the bottom. I wish I would have added more. They ended up really cute. I was hesitant to draw them because I didn't really have a doodle to kind of go off of, but they turned out really well. I don't know if cattail is the formal name for them. I grew up with a pond and that's what we called them. I didn't squeeze in quite as many trackers as I would have liked over there. I've gotten very tracker obsessed lately. But realistically, I use the same 3, you know, my stand, move, and exercise rings on my watch. And then, I don't know, I'll add a fun one. I think I might do reading again, but I have sucked at reading this year. I have really just sucked. I'm in a little book club for my college, you know, the alumni. And I bought the book. It was a book I was really excited about, and I started to read the book, and I missed the meeting to talk about it because I didn't finish the book. That was very disappointing. So let me know what you track. Maybe there's something I could be more successful with tracking this month. I added to that last page where my highlights were, I added a bar across the top in that tan color you'll see in the final flip through. It helps kind of fill in the page. I felt like that circle was plain. I didn't want to go too crazy because, like I said, I'm trying to keep it sort of simple this month. But I definitely needed more, and I feel like just adding those 2 stripes, one at the top and one at the bottom, really helped to bring it all together and fill in the white space. Of course, I've always got to do the currently page because I think they're fun to look back at, see what I was into when I discovered something. And then the highlights, I like to write that down. Funny things my students say usually wind up in there. Successes there, personal goals. I like those too. This one's my favorite drawing, I think, of the whole setup. I do like the water can on my cover page, but I really, really love this umbrella. It's just overflowing with little flowers. I'm just picturing like this quaint little garden where there's an umbrella somebody left open and the world forgot about, and eventually, you know, birds, time, leaves, left it abandoned, and these flowers overgrew. I know I'm way overthinking this drawing, but that was what I had in my mind when I was making this. This one was a little trickier just because it was so tiny. And I know what you're probably thinking, like, Hillary, those brush pens have a small side too, like a smaller nib. Why aren't you using that? I just like the way that the brush tip lays down color. It ends up being darker, in my opinion anyway, on the actual like marker side. I like the brush tip better. Personal preference. Obviously, it would have been easier to color with a small nib, so you do what you do. Super tips are nice too because they have those little fine tips that you can use. I did the same thing with the highlights page as I did with the brain dump page. Eventually, off camera, I went through and added some lines in the corners to kind of frame the page and fill in that white space a little bit. Okay, time for my first weekly spread for the month of April. I am, again, trying to keep this super simple. I have been finding that I really like, so I'm going to call them dashboard layouts for my bullet journal. I'm way more productive if I have a small section for tasks for each day. And, you know, the rare occasion that I have an event to go to, my life is not that glamorous. But then I like to have other lists. You know, it's not always a to-do list. Sometimes it's a shopping list. Sometimes it's something that I'm kind of sort of planning for further in the future and they don't have a day that they belong to. I also like to copy my trackers over to the week. I feel like it helps me to check off my progress as the week goes on because I see that more often than I see my tracker page. I found some fun categories too to use here. I started with the stickers because I really wanted to use those, and then I just decided I did not like them. So I went with cattails again. And then I drew bumblebees, but now that I am thinking about it, I wish that I would have done dragonflies. Makes more sense with the cattails, the whole pond situation. What are you gonna do? I had bees in the spread. It ends up looking cute either way. All right, my friends, that is all for this setup. Please let me know what you thought. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and subscribe to my channel if you're not already. Here we go for the flip through. Bye, friends.